Hey folks, it's Dave here with some exciting news, breaking news if you will, for fans of Shootout Hockey, as Shootout Hockey is proud to announce Shootout EZ. What is Shootout EZ? Shootout EZ is a new fast play mode for Shootout Hockey, which allows you to complete a Shootout Hockey game in just 1 to 2 minutes, rolling period by period for each team, using your existing Shootout team cards and getting a final score. Now, to play this game, it's assumed you are familiar with the basic concepts and rules of the regular edition of Shootout Hockey. Shootout EZ is expected to be released around March 17th, 2021, and right now it will be free for current owners of Shootout Hockey. It will be available as a download from the Shootout Hockey website, shootouthockey.com. So let me talk a little bit about the setup and the gameplay and some of the instructions, and then I'll try to show you some actual gameplay of what's happening here. Okay, the setup. The same way that you set up a normal Shootout Hockey game. You pick your home team, your away team, your starting goalies. You get your offensive rating for each team, your defensive rating from each team, and you're ready to go. But instead of going to the original scoring chance table to get a scoring range, you're going to go to this new EZ rating table. And you're going to check the team offense against the opposing goalie defense, and that will give you an EZ rating number for each team that you will use to determine how many goals are scored in each period. The EZ ratings range from +10, being the best, to -7, which is the worst. Once you determine your EZ rating for each team, you will roll 2 10-sided dice for that team. You will then look at the new goals scored table and refer to the column, and that will tell you how many goals are scored in that period. So let's just say that New York is a -2 when you roll 2d10. If you roll a 55, you would look at -2, come across the 55 and go up, and that would tell you that New York scored 1 goal in the first period. Then you would roll for Boston if they were playing Boston. Boston is a +1. That's their EZ rating. So on +1, Boston rolls a 77. You come over here, and Boston has scored 2 in that period. So after 1, Boston leads 2-1. Do this for all 3 periods, and you have a final score. It's that fast. Okay? Now, on the new goals scored table we were just talking about, the column heads are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Simple enough. That's how many goals were scored in the period, okay? There's also 2 other columns. One is called D6, okay? And one is kind of a wild card column. For D6, if you get D6, you just roll 1d6, and whatever the result from 1 to 6, that's how many goals were scored in that period. If you get the wild card column, which I'm calling it here, the question marks, you need to go to the wild card chart, as I call it. From there, you will need to roll additional dice to determine the goals for that period, okay? So you'll roll 2d6, and you'll get a result. And what's really neat about this wild card chart is that you get periods 1 and 2, which are different than period 3 in some cases. So there's a lot of variety on this chart if you get the wild card roll. Okay, so you need to roll here off the wildcard chart, get that result, then go back to the goals scored table to roll, and you combine the 2, and that will give you the goals for that period. So, for example, you roll 0, 0, 100, whatever it is, to get the wildcard chart, and then you roll a 7. 7 says breakaway. You resolve the breakaway according to the instructions here on the chart. If it's a goal, then when you go back to your goal score table, whatever you roll, you add 1 for the successful breakaway. And that's how this chart here works. Now, while this is fun and it adds some additional flavor to the game, it does add time to what is a fast play game. So this is optional right here. This wildcard column and chart is optional. So if you want to take the time to add to it, great. If you want the quick play game, ignore the 0-0, roll again for a number from 1 to 99, and continue on with the game. There's a brand new overtime chart. So if the game is tied, there's a brand new overtime chart, and you would roll 2d10 to determine if the home team won, lost, or tied, or needed a shootout. In games that you need a shootout, you would refer to page 19 on the original instructions, and then you would use the skater with the highest number of shootout shots for each team only. Roll once for each team and read the results from the table to determine the shootout winner. And again, more of that is explained in the original instructions. It is possible to mix and match. So let's just say that you wanted to play EZ for 2 periods and switch back to the regular game for the third. you can do that. This all works together. It's really nice. Lastly, this is kind of my own creation. It's not an official part of the game, but I figured out a way to get optional goals and assists for all the goals scored in the game if you want to do that, and I'll show you at the end of the video on how to do that. So without further ado, what do you say we get down to game side, rink side rather, and check out how this actually plays. So let's get down to rink side here. So here is the fast play score sheet that I come up with. And so we're going to play this game from 1971 with Boston and New York. So Boston and New York, okay? I'm going to say Johnson's in net for Boston. So let's go Johnston. And over here, we're going to go, I got to go with Eddie. So we're going to put Eddie Giacomin in net. Okay, so we're going to roll right now. First for Boston being away, and then for New York. So my top two dice on the ball roller down here are the six-sided dice. So we're going to go, the first one will be for offense and the second one for defense. Now, I don't need defense. Johnson's a C automatically, so we'll just roll for the offense. So a 4. So Boston offense will be B. And their defense, Eddie Johnston, will be a C. So now let's roll for New York. New York at home. Ooh, they got the 1, so they'll be a C at home. And Giacomin net, he's a B. He's a solid goalie. Okay, so now, to get my easy rating, I look at the Boston offense, which is B, and compare it to the goalie rating over here, which is B as well. So B on B will give me an easy rating of 0. Now, for New York, they're rolling offense C against defense C. So if I look at C and C, they will also be from column 0. So we have a pretty even Steven game going on right now at Madison Square Garden. So let me roll my dice. My red and white dice are the 10-sided dice. So let me roll those. And I have a 3. So that's not good for Boston. So a 3 in column 0 is no goals. So nothing for Boston in the first period. Now let me roll for New York. Off of column 0 and 18, that is 0 as well. So no goals for New York. Second period, Boston. 28. That is right on the edge of a goal, but it's still 0. So Eddie Giacomin keeping Boston off the scoreboard. We go to the rest of the second period for New York. 24. Boy, we are stingy with the goalies in this one. Nothing. Let's go to the third period now. Now, what I tend to do when I get to the third period, kind of my home rule here, is I like to roll the team that's ahead. Now, nobody's ahead in this game, but I like to roll the team that's ahead because if I would just strictly roll visitors first and home team next, if the home team was winning and I rolled and the visitors did not tie, at least tie the game on that roll, then the third period roll for the home team becomes anticlimactic because the game's been decided. But if you roll the team that's winning, you get their final result. That last roll for the trailing team still means something. Okay, they can still tie it, win it, or even lose it if they're still losing. But it gives some meaning to the last roll. So sometimes that's how I will play that out. But again, the option is yours to play as you like. So let's roll Boston, third period. 99 for Boston. So that's a D6. So we're going to take the first number here at the top for Boston. It's a 6. Boston puts up a 6 spot on Eddie and the Rangers in the third period. How crazy is that? So now they're going to have to roll a D6 to match. So that's pretty good. An 81 is pretty good, and that'll give them 2 goals. But unfortunately for the Rangers, a 6-goal third period by the Bruins, and that is our final 6-2. That's how it plays. That's how fast you can get a final score in this game. So that is shootout easy. Now let me show you my way of doing a couple of things here. So let me call up my other score sheet here. So let's come over here and put this back now. And so we're going to say Boston and New York again. And I'm going to tone the scoring down a little bit here. What was my numbers here? I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm just going to go back to here. B and C and 0 and C and B and 0 again. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I get the box scores. So let's just say that we continue on 0-0 just for the sake of some time here. And we got 2-1. Okay, so our final is Boston 2-1 in this game here. Obviously, I'm just kind of making this up as I go. How I figured out to get goals and assists in this game is by looking at the fast action cards over here. So let me bring this over here for the fast action cards, okay? So Boston got 2 goals in the third, and New York got 1. So the period over here, if I put the period, it's always going to be period 3. So I don't have to worry about that. What I do to determine who scored is I roll 6-sided dice, and odd is away and even is home. And that's how I determine who scores in what order, okay? Oh, let me change this. That was wrong. 2-1. Yeah, my bad. All right, so it's 2-1 final score. So I'm going to roll here. Again, odd is away and even is home. So I'm going to roll. So odd is away. So Boston got the first goal in this third period. So Boston got the goal. Okay, now let me check my score. Now what I'm going to do is go back to the original shootout game. I'm going to flip a fact, and my scoring chance is the goal scorer. Where's my, oh, I got to choose my goaltenders here. So we said Johnston and Jackman. Now we can start this. Okay, so this is just the shootout hockey helper I'm using here. So it is C. So Ken Hodge gets the goal. See what that, so C, Kenny Hodge is C. So the scorer is Hodge. And now my assist, I do the assist the same way. So we're going to flip. And so Hodge is out there with defensive line 1. And so R5. So I have Esposito. And defensive line 1 is Orr because it's all. So it's Hodge from Esposito and Orr. And if you wanted to get crazy with time too, you could look at the column up here, the seconds over here where it says 27, and then roll your 20-sided dice to give you a time. But the only thing with that is you would have to roll all these in advance and then put them in order. And I'll show you that in 1 second. But for right now, so the first goal was scored by Hodge in the third period. And now let's roll again. Again, we're looking for odd and even to see who got the next goal. So it was New York. So Boston scored first, and then New York. And let's see who got the New York goal. So I go back to my card, my fast action card. O, it's Ballone. So Ballone gets the goal. And let's check the assists. And the assists go to his line plus D line 1. So it's going to be 6. So it's Ballone from Tkachuk. And lefty Park. So Tkachuk and Park. So it's going to be Tkachuk and Park. So now that we've got that figured out, now we know that because it's 2-1, the last goal is a Boston goal. Okay, so now we do this, and now we see who got the game-winning goal for Boston. So I flip my fast action card, and I got a J. And J is Wayne Carlton. So Carlton scores the game-winning goal. And let's check the assists. So he's out there with D1. So it's Carlton from 6. Nope. Oh, but Orr gets an assist because he's all. And the entire line. So I think Orr gets the assist, and then I got to pick somebody over here. So I'll give it to Sanderson. So we're going to go Orr and Sanderson. Maybe I did that wrong, but just for the purpose of this demonstration, that's what happened. So that's our box score there. It's all third period goals. That's a 2-1 final. And again, if you wanted to do the time, if you really want to kind of get a little crazy with the time, you could flip a fast action card, roll a 20-sided dice. So that is a 222. So 2 down here and 22. So let me come over here and just write 222. Just I'm writing down some times right now. Flip again. 29. 429. So 429. And then the last roll is a 51 and a 5 and 551. Now, they just happen to go in order of 551. So what you could do is time of this goal was 222. And then this goal was 429. And then the game-winning goal was scored to 551. And there you go. And you have goals and assists for your fast play game here. And those are optional. But that's one thing that I was kicking around with. So that is a quick look at Shootout EZ. I'm real excited about this. I played a lot of games of this. When I tested it, I was running a minute 15 seconds. And that's without going to the wild card chart or doing any of the goals and assists. But if I was looking for just the final score, I was getting this game done pretty quick. Again, a minute 15 seconds, minute and 20 seconds, and I was boom, 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 boom. And yeah, a lot of fun. So that's the breaking news. It'll be up on their website shortly. We'll be able to download that. Any questions, obviously email John if you got any questions about that. Be sure to check out the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups. That Shootout Hockey Game. We'll be posting, I know I'll be posting some of the score sheets you saw here. I'll be posting those in the Facebook group if you want to grab those. And I hope you enjoyed this. I've enjoyed the easy mode. I hope you enjoy it too. And let us know what you think. But anyway, I'm Dave. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.